tell us a little bit about yourself and your writing?
Yeah, I'm author Cece Urie. I'm a multi-genre Christian author. And by multi-genre, I mean I work in fantasy, dystopian, contemporary romance, cozy mystery, urban fantasy, science fiction, and um, I always forget the last one.
That's
A
awesome.
bunch of genres.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I have to ask then, do you have pen names for each one, or are you kind of like all under the same pen name,
Nope,
or?
I'm under Cece Urie for all of them.
Cool, cool, very cool. And so, writing all those different genres and everything, does that, how do you keep them all straight?
Um, so it's not really that hard. Just in the sense that I love fantasy. I love reading it. I love writing in it. That's the only genre I thought I was ever gonna write.
Right.
And then I wrote a couple fantasy books, and something happened to where I had to pull them off market. And I got started again with the Dystopian trilogy, which Defender is the first book of. And that one was so much easier than the fantasy because with medieval fantasy, it's, you're um, limited with travel and time and
Right.
communication. And, because everything is sent by, birds, whether you use crows, ravens, carrier pigeons, whatever it is.
Right.
Or,
Right.
and then everything's either you're walking or you're horseback riding or you're taking a carriage somewhere. And so it's just with dystopian, it was, oh, well, I'm gonna make up some futuristic invention to, make things
Oh,
easier for that.
cool.
So that was an easy switch. And then jumping into contemporary romance, that was like the hardest switch I think I had to make just because it's real life and real life is hard.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing fantastical that happens in real life, you know? So it's
Kind of
just
hard.
trying to make sure everything is good. And then there's the whole copyright issues where you can only use certain brand names, and then the other ones you can use, and then you can't put them in a negative light.
Oh, sure.
So like, you can't say if you're cleaning something and it doesn't get all the way clean, like then you can't use that brand name because then it makes it look like it's not cleaned.
Oh,
So it's stuff like that. And that's, tricky and stuff I don't really like messing with.
right. I totally get that. Yeah. Oh, that's cool that you kind of touched on all of those though and everything. So, can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about the book that we are spotlighting for the road trip?
Yeah, so Defender was the first dystopian book I ever wrote. And it was an accident.
Oh,
As I mentioned before, I was doing fantasy series at the time, and I couldn't, when you read the book, chapter one, I couldn't get this spunky girl who just, really didn't like being talked to a certain way and punching a guy in the face out of my head. So I just wrote chapter one and I'm like, okay, that's out. I'm going to do that. But, then she punched him and I was like, well, I have to like, come down off the adrenaline of writing chapter one. I love starting new books. That
yeah.
is my favorite thing. I will write the first five chapters and then I'll like slowly taper out because I'll get a new idea for something else. I love it. I love the thrill of just the new idea hitting you and jumping into the world. And so it's like, okay, so I can't just leave it there. So then I wrote the chapter two with, the accident and everything and
Right.
all that. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, I can't not introduce Soren because he's important. So,
Yeah.
just
Kind of
two
have to
months
keep writing
later, the
it.
book was done. And then if you've already finished Defender, like you'll know it ends on a huge cliffhanger. I wrote this in true trilogy form. So
Oh,
book one
yeah.
and two have huge cliffhangers.
Cool.
And I couldn't, you know, leave myself there because then I would be thinking about the second book and what I want to do in the second while I'm trying to write this fantasy book.
Right.
And then a month later, I had accidentally written the entirety of Betrayer. And so I was just like, okay, I need to focus. But then I ended up putting those out before the fantasy books anyways. So I just sort of ran with it.
So,
And
where did the original inkling of the idea first show up for this girl that was punching a guy in the face?
so, I I was reading a dystopian at the time. Now, I don't have a lot of dystopian experience when it comes to reading. Um, I've read probably 12 dystopian books,
Sure.
three of which were the original Hunger Games books and everything. And it's just all of my characters that I write are, over like all my books are new adult. I don't write about teenagers. I can't do it. Um, it's weird to me. And all respect to people who can do that. It's
Yeah.
just, I haven't been 16 in so long. I can't get in the mindset of what was life like back
It's
then.
hard to go back that far.
So all of the characters in the Divine Courage trilogy are all in their 20s. So they're all young adults. Um, so I went and I did that. And as I was reading these books, like this dystopian series and everything about the teenagers and everything, and I was just like, well, I know like dystopian has chosen one in it, and a lot of the times the girls are like hotheads and stuff. And, you know, no disrespect to the genre, it's just, it comes with the chosen one territory.
Yeah. A
So
lot of the time.
then I was thinking, like, well, because usually the adult books, they have a certain level of spice that people have
Mm,
become accustomed to,
yeah.
unless it's written about teenagers. And I was like, well, I really want to read something that's about older people
Hmm.
where there is no spice. Like, there's just a little bit of steam or a little bit of heat or, whatever you want to call it, but no spice. And I love pulling in biblical views to my books.
Cool.
And I was like, so what biblical story can I pull inspiration from that would be about a chosen one that would involve a girl, being brave and really also unsure of herself because, I love giving my characters flaws. That's something else that I love doing. Um, because, what's the point of reading about somebody who's perfect
Right.
all the time? It drives me nuts. Like when, you get into the book and they're already good at everything and all of that. And it's just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I can run with this. So I was really like trying to figure out like what would be a good, you know, sort of thing for me to follow. And then I was like, well, if anybody's the chosen one in the Bible, Esther,
Esther. Yeah.
so
I love that.
uh, yeah, then the whole rest of the series sort of materialized around. So I thought of Larkin punching Cam as the first initial thing, but then I knew um, the second thing I wrote down was the last line of Defender. And
Ooh.
I don't want to spoil it for everybody who hasn't read it yet, but that I knew that how I was going to end the book.
Oh,
So I
cool.
was like, okay, so I can't end a standalone novel like that. And I don't know, I'm not really a huge fan of writing duologies. A lot
Okay.
of the ones that I've read, it's just, you could have written that 1,000-page book. It's
Yeah.
okay. I would have read it. Um, so I just decided to make it into a trilogy, and then it worked out great. So
So then also for you, what is a day in the life of writer Cece?
my son wakes me up every morning. He is 4. And then it depends on what he wants to do. I mean, sometimes he's usually pretty quiet and like self-entertaining when it comes to playing and stuff. Like he has his cars and his dinosaurs and his stuff that he likes to do. Other times it's I don't know how to entertain myself and you have to, do
Give me
every so
an
it depends on how much I can write when and how he's feeling. And then usually I try to get in a little bit, after he goes to bed. But with him being so young and a boy, I, I usually have to wait until I'm more well rested to
Right.
get it done because then I'm sitting down on the couch, pulling my computer out, pulling my phone out to make graphics or something to, market or whatever, or even just pulling out a book to read for myself. And
Right.
then I find myself, having to pick myself up off the couch 20 minutes later and going to bed.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, so it varies every single day. And a little
yeah,
bit dependent upon your little boy too.
yeah.
That's cool though. He sounds like a cutie.
Yeah, he is. It's
Oh,
sometimes he lets me work, but other times he'll sneak up and I'll be typing so I won't see him, and then I'll just see my computer closing over
oh,
my hands, and then he'll go, "Mama, time to play." It's like,
oh, it's time to
okay.
play. Okay, it's time to play. How can you resist that, right?
Yeah.
That is so cute. Oh my word. If you were to recommend different places for people to come, if they were coming to your state to visit, what places would you recommend them? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in Michigan. Um, you start out at one end of the state, you drive 6 hours, and then you're still in Michigan. So there's a lot to do. Um, Top three off my head, though, I love Frankenmuth. I
Okay.
go there multiple times a year for book signings. It is Christmas town.
Oh, wow.
So there is a store there called Bronner's where they have every kind of Christmas tree ornament imaginable. It is just
Wow.
Christmas all year round. It's a very German town, so you can get a lot of German food. They have really good, and I know this isn't necessarily German, but they have the best fried chicken in
Ooh,
that town at the restaurant Zender's. It's so great. Um, yeah, but then they have a lot of like ice cream and fudge and cheese. There's a lot of
oh
cheese.
yeah.
Just very, very German stuff. You can even buy, there's a sort of shopping center in the bottom of the Zender's restaurant, and then across the street at the Bavarian Inn,
Oh,
there's a
cool.
shopping center. You can buy actual lederhosen in this place.
That's hilarious.
It's great. And they have the cutest little used bookstore, Charlen's Book Nook, and I do a lot of book signings there.
Cool.
So if you love Christmas, I'd recommend that. Then there's Mackinac Island where there's, the Grand Hotel, no electricity. You either ride a bike or you take a carriage.
Very cool.
Love the Great Lakes, the fudge up there and everything. And then if you're really into cherries, there's Traverse City, and that's also the fudge and the, good food. And then of course, we have the Four Seasons. So really anywhere you stay, you can't really go wrong.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I haven't traveled as much in Michigan, but I hope to in the near future.
Yeah.
We're in North Dakota, so not that far from you guys, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can take the Dells from Wisconsin. You can take the boat over with your car to Michigan
Oh, that's
and
right.
everything. Yeah.
That's cool. So if your two main characters from Defender, if they were to go on a road trip, where would they go?
Um,
It might
they
be a little
would
bit
go,
because dystopian, but
yeah. So Larkin has this thing all throughout Defender where she wants to go to the ocean.
okay.
So they wouldn't find that in Michigan because, we're all no salt. But they'd probably go to the beach. They'd probably go to the UP somewhere. Um, Yeah, I mean, they're not, since it is dystopian, there's not really a lot of like fishing or hunting or,
Right.
any of the typical Michigan sports, skiing or any of that happening in the book. It's a lot of, flying, but
Yep.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So probably the
Good
beach,
answer.
Lake Michigan.
Good answer. Cool. And then what treats would they bring with them? Because every
Um,
needs a snack.
yeah. So Soren is too stubborn for snacks. He's, it's just, but he'll end up picking off whatever Larkin brings. Larkin is definitely like, she's not the group mom because Henley's the group mom, but she's definitely like the fun aunt with all the snacks. So she
Cool.
would make all of her own like Chex Mix and
Oh, cool.
all of that stuff to bring, and she would bring too much because she wouldn't want anybody to go without. So, and then
There
she
you
would
go.
call Soren out on eating the snacks after he's, too macho to enjoy, you know,
There you go. I
all
love
of that.
That's very cool. And then, so when it came to writing, I mean, when it comes to writing your books and this series and other series, what did you take inspiration from your state, Michigan?
I've been getting into more of the Michigan, yes. So I don't want to spoil new series, but the one I have coming out, the one Southern Charm that's in the Kickstarter right now, that's
Yes.
taking place in Kansas, so that's
Okay,
down south. But I have another series and then a standalone Christmas book idea,
cool.
that are both taking place in Michigan. So,
Hey, very cool. That's exciting. Yeah, and then so if you were to go on a road trip, since we're on the road trip kick here, what book would you bring with you on a road trip? And maybe it's a comfort read that you go back to many times.
yeah, so I just started, oh, and I don't even know who it's by. I just started this secret spell shop or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's, yeah, so it's
A cozy fantasy, right?
yes, yeah, that's the one
Okay.
where the library she works at burns down and she sneaks out a bunch of spell books and yeah, she starts doing like illegal magic in her cottage and makes jam for people. I thought it sounded cute.
It
I
does.
just started that. Um, But let's see. The book I always recommend to everybody is Head in the Clouds by Karen Whittemire.
Okay.
And I love that book because it is more high stakes Christian, where it's, something sort of border the line where, like, intensity wise,
Mhm.
because she does end up getting like kidnapped and stuff in the book, but she is done with love because she has a beau that she visits at the train station. Turns out he's got a girl at every port kind of
Oh
deal.
no.
And
Yeah.
she's thinking, and she even makes reference to this, where she's like, I thought I found my Mr. Darcy, my Mr. Rochester, all of this. And then she decides I'm getting out of town. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm taking this government's job across. And then when she gets there, he's a sheep farmer, and his daughter went through a trauma and she doesn't speak.
Oh wow.
And so he doesn't want her there because he doesn't like the way he's teaching her daughter and all, because she's fun and makes games out of things, a real Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
And he's just like, I don't have time for beautiful governesses that are distracting.
that's
So
funny.
I love that book. It's a great summer read.
Okay, I've never read it before. I'm gonna have to go and look it up.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I really enjoyed our chat and everything. So if you could just share a little bit about how people can find you online so they can get
Yeah.
your books, that'd be wonderful.
So I have a website that I haven't updated in a couple months because I was prepping for the Kickstarter and all of that. But you can connect with me there. You can find me most often on Instagram. That's where I get a lot of my messages. If I don't hear from you right away, it's probably because it got filtered into one of the, spam folders or
Right.
something, which I will check about once a month just in case. Um, so I've gotten messages from like ARC potential ARC readers and stuff that show up there. They're just like, I don't know how can't access the link and stuff. It's like, oh no, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Sometimes it's weird, the DMs.
So
They're so strange. I don't know how they
yeah,
really work, but yeah, very weird.
yeah. I'm on Facebook and I am on TikTok that I just started 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will put all of that below in the description so people can find you and also your books. And I'm just so happy that you're in this road trip. So it's been super fun and
Thank you.
I to share more people, books with other people. So yeah, it's been fun.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. And I enjoyed chatting with you. I would love to chat more
Yes.
and everything. So I look forward to following you along on your journey and getting to know you more. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, most definitely. You have a great rest of your day. Thanks for riding shotgun on the Romance Reading Road Trip. I'm so excited for you to be joining this journey with us. Be sure to go down to the video description below and sign up for the passport. You're not going to want to miss out on it.